position with our position with the Indigenous Environmental Network and our networking into the grassroots communities of our indigenous peoples, is that we're seeing that it's very difficult for our indigenous peoples to reconcile the acceptance of a commodification of those elements that are very sacred within the cosmovision, the spirituality of our peoples, and that's putting money on air, the very element that is sacred, and to privatize that. So privatization and commodification of the forest, the trees, and the carbon, the air, is a violation and a corruption of the sacred. So it's been very difficult as we mount this campaign to go into the very heart, the grassroots of our indigenous communities, to inform them of what's going on. And that's the purpose of this first report that's going to be published in all languages, so that it can go into our communities and confront the truth of what's going on, that REDD is not a mitigation solution to addressing global warming. Thank you. Can I just have two questions, please, from the IUCN? Okay. If there's any questions from the press.
Thank you. My name is Imtiaz Maqbul. I'm a columnist for the Bangkok Post. You mentioned that some of your own indigenous peoples are being tricked into giving up their land rights. What are you actually doing to stop that from happening in terms of making them more aware of not doing this in the first place?
Thank you. I'll take that question, if I may. I'm from India, and even in Thailand, in the northern areas, in Indonesia, in Papua New Guinea, in India, indigenous people are being tricked by legislation, because now they are being given, for example, in India, we are being given individual title for small areas of forest in exchange for giving up our title collectively to the larger areas of forest, for example. That's legislative trickery. And that's being done through forest legislation, through land legislation. There are also, what would you call them, middle men and ladies who are going to the forest areas, to our villagers, and saying that, oh, we're going to give you a lot of money and we only want to rent your trees, we're not going to do anything else, you can keep your forest, you can keep staying there. And they're getting signatures from people who are basically not explained the correct things. And we are trying. We are trying to go to these same villagers and to the villages and to mount national and provincial campaigns against the legislation and against allowing these people into our areas where they can give a false information. And it's very hard, because we're going against the tide which says that money talks and the rest of you can just shut up. So we cannot even get any support for these campaigns for educating our people or for getting them to access legal and other help which they need. And that is really being very destructive, because there are thousands upon thousands of people who are being forced out of forests, even in preparation for implementing REDD programs in just Asia itself. I hope that helps you to understand our situation.
Seeking redress from these land grabs and violations of rights of indigenous peoples to lands has always been a historical issue, especially within colonized territories. That's why this is a very serious issue with lack of safeguards, and it's not just a matter of seeking recognition of the full rights of indigenous peoples and the implementation of free, prior, informed consent, is that even if those are incorporated into these documents coming out of here as a treaty agreement, is that how are they going to get enforced at the end of the day at the national level and the subnational level as these initiatives get implemented? And we're just concerned that liability issues, litigation issues will continue to be addressed, and so that's why we're very concerned, at least with our organization. We are opposed to REDD. REDD is not a solution. REDD Plus is not a solution. Thank you very much.